So if you are stuck in the trunk or the latch gets stuck, there is a release mechanism on the inside right here, and you just push that to the right as you're facing backwards, and that is the emergency release button for the back trunk. The mirrors have multiple functions that aren't used very often, so I think, at least for myself, I forget about how they actually work. There's two buttons here. Here, the button on the left, if you push it, that will cause the mirrors to manually fold and unfold. The other button is a slide switch. If it's slid to the left, it enables the passenger mirror to tilt when the car is put in reverse. So we will do that right now. I guess I have to start it. And as you can see, it's actually tilted down to be able to see the side of the car towards the bottom. Now, back in drive mode, goes back up. There's another feature you may not be aware of, that if you're rolling and you turn the turn signal on, the mirror actually turns out, and then it will turn back in when the turn signal goes off. Another feature that many people aren't aware of, including myself until recently, that a single press puts it into drive, but there's also, instead of having to do single presses all the way to reverse, you can do a full hard press and it will go all the way forward, or a full hard back and it will go all the way to reverse. So that's very convenient rather than stepping through neutral every time. Another good to know feature is there is actually a 12-volt port underneath the dash. So that's where I typically plug in my 12-volt monitor system. So there it is. So it's a good place to plug in any accessories or phone chargers into that slot. Alright, so we've locked the car with just pressing the lock button once on the remote with the window down. The infrared sensor should trigger an alarm if it's working correctly. Okay, it's working correctly. Another good thing to know, if you happen to have animals in the car or have windows open and you reach into your car but you don't want it to alarm, is pressing the lock button twice disables the infrared sensor so it doesn't cause an alarm situation. So if I make lots of waving motions around here, it's not going to trigger the infrared sensor. Using the radio, there's some things that I've discovered this wasn't obvious to me initially. If you go into FM and you want to look at some radio stations, you of course can click the eye controller and it will give you a list of stations. However, if you go to the top and hit manual, it's much easier to move the little dial around to whatever station you want. But in addition to this, if you go over to the controls, there are two buttons here. You can press that, and actually, if you hold it down, you can get an automatic scan to the next station that's available, and just keep pushing to keep going through the different stations. So that proves out pretty handy if you want to scan some radio stations that you're not familiar with, or you're in a different area. The programmable buttons on the radio are very useful because not only can you store radio stations, but you can also immediately jump to different menus in the iDrive system. For example, I have number 1 set to old state of charge, number 2 facing north, maps, BMW online, trip computer, you slide your finger across. Number 4 is not assigned, so we're going to long press that one and store number 5 being the radio station. So it's really that simple to reprogram those buttons, and just run your finger along the top to highlight what they are in case you've forgotten before actually pushing it to activate. So very useful and handy. Here's another quick review of something that I found that was a bit annoying until I figured it out. Sometimes if you have passengers, they are locked out of the car unless you manually unlock their door. Unless you go into the settings and then go down to doors and key and select that and go to key button settings, and you have all doors. If you click on that, you'll see it's you can set it to all doors or driver's door only. So if you do have a lot of passengers that are riding with you, it's probably more convenient to set that to the driver's door only, or from driver's door only to all doors. Here's another piece of advice as far as turning the car on and off. Of course, if you want to turn the car off quickly, you can just open the driver's door and the car will shut off automatically. However, if you're in the car and it's on, I'm going to put my foot on the brake, start it up, and everything starts up as normal. If I want to turn it off, 2 quick presses will shut everything down very quickly, and then you can just get out of the car. Versus 1 press does not do that. So if you want to do a long press on the lock, you have the window open right now. We're going to try that, holding it down. And if you hold it down, it will automatically roll the window. So a long press will roll up the windows. If we do an unlock and hold it down, you'll get both windows will be unrolling.